Living with a roommate can be a mixed bag. Sometimes you're best friends, and other times you're just two people coexisting under the same roof. Larry and I were somewhere in the middle. We shared a small, cozy house not far from the city. The rent was cheap, the neighborhood was quiet, and we rarely had any issues. Up until the night, everything has been pretty smooth. But what happened after the evening changed everything. It was a typical day. I got home from work around 6 p.m., exhausted and just wanted to relax. The first thing I did was head to the kitchen to grab a drink. As I was leaving the kitchen, something caught my eye. The back door was wide open, not just unlocked, but literally standing open. I frowned, assuming Larry has been careless again. He could be a bit sloppy at some times, and leaving the door open seemed like something he might do. Shaking my head, I walked over, closed it, and locked it. I went upstairs to my bedroom, eager to get lost in my phone for a bit. After about 30 minutes of mindless scrolling, I heard footsteps on the stairs. They were slow. I didn't even think twice. It had to be Larry. The sound of his steps were familiar. The creaks of the wooden stairs, the slight drag of his left foot that always seemed to be echo more loudly than the others. He was walking down the hallway, right past my closed bedroom door. "Larry," I called out, expecting a grunt or something of acknowledgement in return, but there was nothing. "Larry, you left the back door open," I shouted, a little louder at this time. Silence. My annoyance quickly turned into a mixture of confusion and irritation. Larry was never one to ignore me, especially when I was clearly addressing him. I got up, opened the door, and was about to give him a piece of my mind. But when I stepped into the hallway, it wasn't Larry. Standing there just a few feet away from me was a complete stranger. He was tall, lanky, with a long, greasy black hair and a dark complex. His clothes were dirty and his eyes, those cold, piercing dark eyes, locked into me. For a split second, we were just standing there, each other for a moment. Time seems to be froze. Then instinct took over. I turned and ran down the stairs. My heart pounded in my chest. I could hear him behind me, his footsteps heavy and fast, gaining on me. My mind was racing, trying to figure out where to go, what to do. I didn't have a plan, just a primal need to get away. In my panic, I made a decision that was so foolish. I ran into the basement. The door was slightly open, and it was the closest option. I didn't think, I just acted. I ran down the stairs, nearly tripping in my haste, and plunged into the pitch black darkness below. The basement was unfinished, cold, and filled with shadow that seemed to be shift and breathe. The only thing that was down there was the washer, the dryer, some rusty old pipes, and a few storage boxes. It was the last place I wanted to be, but I had no choice. I didn't dare turn on the light. Instead, I hid behind the stairs, pressing myself against the wall, trying to make myself as small as possible. My breath came in short, terrified gasps, my chest heavy as I struggled to stay quiet. I could hear him above me, descending the stairs slowly, each step thudding like a drumbeat of doom. He reached the bottom and paused, as if savoring the moment, knowing that I was somewhere close but not within his reach. My heart was in my throat, every muscle in my body tense, waiting for the inevitable. He began searching, moving objects throughout the basement. I could hear him knocking over boxes, pushing aside old furniture, his breathing heavy and labored. He was getting closer, and the fear was suffocating, pressing down on me like a weight I couldn't escape. Who was this man? Why was he in my house? What did he want? These questions raced me in my mind, but I had no answers. All I knew was I had to stay hidden, had to stay quiet or he will find me. At one point, he was so close that I could see his shadow looming over me. I could hear his breath just few inches away. I held my breath, praying that he wouldn't look behind the stairs, that he wouldn't find me. And then, miraculously, he moved on. He didn't find me. After what felt like eternity, I heard his footsteps retreating, The creep of the staircase as he ascended back up to the main floor, leaving me in the stifling darkness. I didn't move. I couldn't move. My mind was screaming at me to run, to get out there, but my body was paralyzed with fear. Minutes passed, maybe hours. It was hard to tell in the darkness. Eventually, I gathered enough courage to reach my phone. With trembling hands, I dialed 911, whispering into the phone that someone has broken in my house and was hunting me down. The operator's calm voice was a lifeline, reassuring me that help was on the way. And then, when just I thought it might be safe, I heard it. The basement door was creaking open again. My blood ran cold. He was back. The fear that has been somewhat gone down, easy relief, came rushing back up, sharpened and more terrifying than before. I could hear him descending the stairs, each step slow and deliberate, as if he knew I was still down there, hiding in the darkness. I held my breath, trying to make myself as small as silent as possible. He walked around the basement again, but this time with a pipe. After just a minute, he turned and went back upstairs. But this didn't bring any relief. I knew he was still in my house and I was trapped. Then suddenly there was a loud knock at the front door. The sound was so unexpected as normal that it almost startled me as much as the stranger had. The police has arrived. I heard this guy running through the house, his footsteps heavy and panicking, just like mine had been earlier. I didn't wait. I sprinted up the stairs, my legs trembling, but driven by pure adrenaline. I reached the front door just as the police were coming in. Breathless, I told that the guy was trying to escape through the back door. The officers immediately gave chase, and within minutes they caught him. They brought him back to the house, and that was when the realization hit me, the back door. He has gotten in because Larry has left it unlocked. As the police led him away, I couldn't stop shaking. I had no idea who he was, what he wanted, or why he has been in my house. All I knew was that I had come terrifyingly close to something far worse than I could have ever imagined. The thought of what could have been happened to me if I hadn't found a good hiding spot, if I hadn't called the police in time. Even now, I still have nightmares about the place. I hear his footsteps, feel his presence behind me, and wake up in a cold sweat, my heart racing. I keep the doors locked at all times, and Larry? Well, he never forgets to lock down the back door again. But the fear, the memory of the stranger's eyes looking into mine is something I'm never able to shake.